This is absolutely beautiful. Fatma'am actually admits to sending people over my home, knowing who came over my home, and yes, they did run away like little pussies. That's the truth. And the reason I know they ran away, nobody confronted me. None of you have the balls to confront me. You don't. Because you know damn well, with all the threats that I've received, I am well within my right to assume that my life is in danger if any of you confront me. And I am well within my right to self-defense in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Okay? So, and I also have a right to stand my ground in Pennsylvania. So keep up the bullshit. But let's hear this. Let's hear Hatman state that he knows who came over my house. But no, they did run away like little bitches. But you admit that it happened. I'm amazed you don't admit to knowing who slashed my tire, but you probably kind of are when you're saying you know who came over my home, because you know that they're probably the person that slashed my tire.
Pop back in the priest tab. It's on his community tab, but it doesn't say what the strike was for. Everybody knows what the strike was for. 15-year-old comment. The 15-year-old figure skater comment. Later's Limpy.
Coincidentally, after Royce mentioned my car and where it was parked,
James, you live in a shithole. Nobody slashed your tire. Well, first of all, if anybody slashed your tires, it's the most impressive slashing job anybody's ever seen, because there was not a mark on your tire. They must have literally had to give your tire a reach around and impale it from the rear, which is pretty much...
It was determined to have been slashed by the police and also by the tire place I took the tire to. Yes, it was slashed. I'm sorry. I didn't know that Hatman was a forensic investigator. But let's get to where he admits to knowing who came over my home. And yes, the person did run away like a little bitch.
Your ideal sexual position, isn't it?
At the dumpster, it happened to get its tire slashed, which was reported to the police. I'm not required to prove any of this to you people, but I can guarantee...
No, but you're not technically required to prove anything, James, but you will be required to substantiate your allegations, which you can't do. And if you can't do that, then they're not going to do shit with your claims. And that's the point, James. I'm literally offering to help you with the claims you're making, James. Literally offering to help.
I've already substantiated the claims, buddy. You're going to find out. You'll find out. We'll find out exactly what's going on. My assumption is that they're not going to fuck around because it's just some retard on the internet threatening me. However, you keep it up, and you, like the new thing, like I had to inform them today, you're trying to gain access to my medical records. You have gained access to my medical records. You've spoke to somebody that had access to my medical records. You spoke to somebody that treated me in the hospital, and they told you to leave them alone. You are trying to gain access to my medical information, which is a felony in the United States, and that has been reported.
Provide a statement. Turn myself in, boy. But you don't want that to happen. You don't want me to speak to the officers or the agents or whatever you claim you've been speaking to, because...
You'll speak to the British version of them when they put your hands behind your back, fatty.
Let's face it, you've been talking about, let's say you reported to your police, the state police, the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, Beavis and Butthead, because you're never going to score, James. Your local state senators, your local congressman.
This is what spurging looks like, people. This is a person spurging out because he can't take the fact that he knows damn well that he's going to be found guilty. he will be found guilty because he can't stop. He's so obsessed with me that he can't stop harassing me. He can't stop sending people over my home. He can't stop threatening me. He's continually threatened me, which is breaking the law. You're not allowed to use the internet to commit acts of threat, to actively threaten people. That's against the law. There is no law saying that you have the ability to threaten people on the internet. Freedom of speech does not mean that you have the ability to threaten people. Period. Now let's go on.
The fucking National Senate. James, the lie is just...
I've reported it to all the people I said I've reported it to. You'll find out, buddy. You will find out, and I will continue to report it. I will continue to report it, and you'll find out where it goes.
Constantly come out. I mean, who else have you reported to? Did you report to Epstein before he, accidentally hung himself in his cell when he was practicing autoerotic asphyxiation masturbation? You should try that. Yeah, I mean, all you need is, 4 feet of sheet and a bunk bed.
He's obsessed with trying to get me to kill myself. You see, this is his goal.
You don't need a bunk bed, just use a door handle.
I have reported pretty much everything you people have done.
Well, if you've been reporting it, James, then I imagine you've been flagging pretty much everything I post anyway.
I actually almost never flag videos. I don't think I've actually flagged any of Fatma'am's videos. I flagged Daywave. I flagged Adonis. I don't think I flagged Fatma'am. I may have. I may not have. I don't really remember, but I know I haven't in the last number of months at least.
Why am I still on YouTube? I mean, that's one thing.
Because YouTube doesn't enforce their community standards. That's why. But you're not allowed to threaten people. The police have determined that. You're not allowed to threaten people over the internet. Whether YouTube says you can or can't, it's still against the law. You're not allowed to threaten people. You're not allowed to make terroristic threats against people. The police have seen what you've said. The police have agreed that they're terroristic threats. The police have written down that they're terroristic threats. The police know what you look like. The police know what you sound like. The police know what your channel is. The police know about you harassing a Drazdia. The police know everything you're doing. They've looked into it. Not only do the police know, but other people know too. Other people like the FBI, okay? Other people like the senator's office. It's the truth. I have reported you to these people. I have communicated with these people. And no, I'm not showing you the conversations. Number one, you're not allowed to show a conversation you've had with a senator or a congressman. It's illegal because those emails are confidential. It would be illegal for me to do that. It says so at the bottom of the goddamn email.
That's the main thing. If I'm not violating YouTube's terms of service, what makes you think I'm violating the law?
After a certain point. I don't know, the fact that the police and the FBI have confirmed that you're violating the law, that might be it. You're not allowed to threaten people over the internet. Could that be why I think you're breaking the law? Because people that enforce the law have told me that you're breaking the law? That might be the reason why. Initially, but after a certain point, I started reporting everything to the police.
Everything, please. James, you do realize you're wasting police time? Right? And they've...
Not according to the police. The police want me to update them as much as possible, so much so that I don't, because a lot of it I don't want to waste their time. But they've told me to report absolutely everything, because everything matters, especially when somebody is as active as you are with threatening and stalking somebody and admittingly stalking somebody and intensifying the stalking behavior by sending people over someone's home.
Told you to stop it, otherwise they're going to charge you for wasting police time and filing false police reports, right?
That's not what they told me at all. They keep telling me to send them more stuff. And the reason why was because,
especially when the advice they would have given you, James, was stop provoking them. Because what have you been...
That's not the advice they've given me. You're wrong there, buddy. You see, that's not the advice they've given me. They've given me the advice to, continue to report it to them. Record and report. Record and report. Record and report. And basically continually bring attention to it, is what they told me. They want me to bring the public's attention to it and continually report you to them. That's what they've told me to do. They've also told me to take photographs and video of anybody that looks conspicuous in my vicinity. That's what they've told me to do, and to give that to them also.
Good day, James. Provoking everybody again. You're the aggressor, James. You can't.
I'm the aggressor. This is what they do with Mary. I'm the aggressor for pointing out their harassment of me, the fact that they have tried to illegally they've illegally tried to gain access to my medical records. They've stalked down somebody that has given me medical treatment to try and communicate with this person, and this person has allegedly told them to leave her the hell alone, and then they continue to mention the person after she has been very adamant that they leave her alone, but they won't leave her alone. And this is the thing. When you're stalking down through someone's medical records, because the only way you would have been able to find out who my nurse was through a contact in that hospital. Who's the contact? Who's the contact? Somebody that's in your chats? Because that's probably what's going on. If you have a contact at that hospital, which I doubt, but if you do, it's somebody that you're working with your community of stalkers that works at that hospital that illegally accessed my medical records and illegally furnished you or someone else with that information and illegally approached that woman and illegally tried to get her to talk about me, and she rightly told them to screw off. That's what probably happened. That's what happened from your own words. Okay, you know what happened. Now let's go on.
Claim to be a victim if you're punching back. If you get caught, if you get in a fight and you...
That's not true. I have every right to punch back. I have every right to punch back. And I was told to bring as much public attention to this as possible.
Fight back. You're not the aggressor. You're defending yourself. If you start the fight, then you're the aggressor. But you're also defending yourself because the other guy...
How drunk is this dude? He's making no sense whatsoever.
Probably going to beat the shit out of you, especially in your case. James, the police aren't going to do a goddamn thing because you're every bit as much of a guilty party. And they don't give a fuck.
That's not what the police had to say.
About people on the internet trading barbs. Get a thinner skin.
Illegally gaining access to somebody's medical records is not trading insults. That's illegally gaining access to somebody's medical records by stalking one of the people that gave them medical treatment down and trying to force them to communicate with you. That's illegal on several levels, okay? But mostly it's illegal by the fact that you're not allowed to gain access to my medical records. It's against the law. So whether you're out of the jurisdiction because you're in merry old England is not what's important. The important thing is whoever your contact is, which it will be found out. It will be found out. Okay, whoever your contact is will be found out, and they will have been found guilty of committing a felony because you have a big mouth.
I don't know, sand down your jaw and transplant all the extra bone material and just, powder it up and apply it. Apply it liberally across the rest of your body. Maybe it'll help to thicken your skin. You whining.
I like how they can't get enough of my freaking hyper-masculinity. My chin, my Mussolini-esque chin. They can't get enough of this no chin-having son of a bitch. Cannot get enough of my fabulous chin.
Little bitch.
I needed a paper trail. And
you don't have a paper trail. Your paper trail is literally you posting shit and then other people responding to your shit. Or
no, my paper trail is bigger than that because I have an eyewitness for some of the crap. So there you go. There you go. I have eyewitness accounts of other people, including neighbors of mine, witnessing people screw with me. Go on.
Shit which has got nothing to do with you, and therefore you can't make a claim out of it that you're being harassed. If it doesn't...
I've never claimed that you're harassing me when you're harassing Mary. That's never been the case. What I've done is I've shown that you're harassing a mentally ill woman and trying to drive her to suicide, which is what you are doing. I'm showing what a horrible person you are, what a disgusting person you are, how literally evil you are to try and make a woman who has schizoaffective disorder that cannot tell reality from fantasy, although she is doing quite a good job lately, but you're trying to torture this woman to the point where she harms herself so that you can make money off of her misery. That's what I'm doing with that. I'm not saying you're harassing me when you harass Mary, but what you are doing is you're trying to drive a woman to suicide by trying to convince the public that she did things that she didn't do, and by trying to get her to hate herself and to hate her life. And you know what? You're not winning because she's a better person than you are.
Involve you. Fucking dumbass. So when you post shit about... So when I comment about Mary, rationally there, and you share it with your bullshit, you're the aggressor, James.
No, I'm commenting. I'm allowed to make comments. I'm giving commentary, just like you. There's nothing aggressive about me giving commentary. I'm simply giving commentary on what I see, which is you harassing a mentally ill woman. If you don't want my commentary, stop harassing a mentally ill woman and you won't receive my commentary. Say something.
If you say something, I'm entitled to respond.
If you say something, I'm entitled to respond.
It had happened to me because I was receiving very real threats. People were coming over my home.
Yeah, the people who came over your home.
Here we are, and this is what's funny. They knocked on my door and ran away like a sissy little bitch because they know that in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I have a right to self-defense. And with all the threats I'm receiving online, if somebody confronts me to my fucking face, I have a right to defend myself, and I have every reason to presume that if somebody affiliated with you people comes to my face after people have threatened to shoot me, which I have evidence of, after people have threatened to beat me to death, after people have threatened to rape me, I have every right to defend myself, and I am more than capable of defending myself. So you sent somebody over my house, and they ran away like a little pussy.
And then conveniently, you decide, oh, they were children or they were cowards sent by Daywave. They knocked and they ran away.
I never said they were children. I said they were cowards. I could hear the guy breathing behind me. I actually thought it was my neighbor. I could hear him breathing behind me because he was around the corner from me. And as soon as I shut my door, as soon as he heard me lock my door, he knocked and ran away. And because it's a deadbolt, it takes a second to unlock. I actually think that he's probably an upstairs neighbor and lives there that works for you people, because that would make sense, because he didn't run outside because I ran after him and he wasn't outside. So my guess is that he ran up the steps. Okay, that's what I'm guessing, and I'm guessing I know exactly where he lives too. And that's my guess. I'll just put it that way. And you people can keep up the crap. I have my suspicions of who it is. And, you got these little sissy boys stalking me out. You got women stalking me out because you're a bunch of little sissies. Keep it up. I'm within my rights to defend myself, especially after you've stated that people have firearms, that you're going to get a firearm, you're going to come to my home and you're going to shoot me. I had Adonis saying he's going to shoot me. I had JJ saying he's going to beat me to death with a baseball bat. I had Adonis saying he's going to fill me full of holes with his Beretta in a community tab post, which I have a photo of. I got all sorts of shit from you people threatening me over and over again. Anybody associated with you motherfuckers, I have every right to assume is trying to do me harm. And under the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's laws, I have every right to defend myself by whatever means is considered reasonable in a court of law. So you can keep threatening me, you can keep sending people over my home, and I will keep reporting it to the police because I am not the one breaking the law. I am the one defending myself. So you people can keep the bullshit up, but let's hear what you have to say, buddy boy. Let's hear what you have to say.
James, you and I both know, and the people who were at your door know that is bullshit. Maybe it was a fluke and some kids were playing Knocky 9.
Wait. The people that were at my door know it's bullshit? So, yeah, you know who they were. So let's go.
recording where I live. People were encouraging people to attack me.
Yeah, somebody did video record where you live. I know who did it. I'm not going to say who did it. It wasn't done. It wasn't solicited. It wasn't asked for. It was someone decided they were going to go out and do it.
It wasn't done. It wasn't solicited for, but I just told somebody to do it, and I did it, and then I put it on my show, but I didn't do it. It just happened. I encourage people to do crazy bullshit, but it's not me doing it. Blah, 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 blah.
Shouldn't have done it, but what the hell. I will own I shouldn't have played it, but I did. But it was still anonymous. Didn't show exactly where you live, just the building, but no actual location where that building was.
It did show because a lot of your viewers are local, as was seen by the person that came over my place. He was obviously local enough to come over my place. You obviously encouraged it. You encouraged it by posting it. And you encouraged increasing levels of behavior, such as somebody coming over my home and knocking on my door and running away like a little bitch. Because you encouraged that. Then what happened was my tire got slashed about a week after that. Why? Because you encourage it. You and Royce and Adonis and other people encourage this behavior by promoting this behavior. So let's go on.
Like driving around a random street in the middle of the night, James. It's not that relevant.
And I needed the police to know that this was going on. And that's why I reported to the police. And the police told me to report it to the FBI, so I reported it to the FBI.
In other words, the police told you, yeah, you're talking at your house, mate. You want to waste the FBI's time? Go waste the FBI.
The police told me to report it to the FBI because you happen to be a foreigner, and this is from what the cop said, this is an act of international terrorism. This is more and it has taken place over the internet. So it's under the jurisdiction of the FBI, not the local police. That's what happened. Because when they started looking into you people, they realized that it was an international group of people. When I gave them when you called me and said, stop grooming young girls, which they have, which was a lie, and the police know it was a lie, but they have the voicemails that you people have sent me. They started realizing that these are international calls coming from the UK, coming from Australia, coming from other parts of the world, and that they're all coming in and that they're all affiliated with the same group of, well, they don't know if they're affiliated with the same group of people, but when you have that many people saying the same things, yes, they told me to report them to the FBI because it's clearly taking place over the internet. These are international things. When you threatened to murder me, the police were very adamant that I report it to the FBI immediately because you had threatened to come to the United States to obtain a firearm. And I'm gonna play it again. I'll play that after you're done blabbing. So you threatened to come to the United States, obtain a firearm, get an alibi from the people that gave you the firearm, come to my apartment, and end me. You dig? Now, that's why the police told me to report it to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That's why. Because they needed to know that somebody that had jurisdiction over that could do something about it. That's why I had to report it to the FBI.
Guys, time, because they're not going to pay attention to you either. They're just trying to get you to fuck off and leave them alone, Jimmy.
No, the police kept encouraging me to report things. They come out whenever I ask them to.
From leave them alone.
And I will continue to do so if you people don't stop.
What was that? Marvelous videos. Who will Babinu Origins? Saul Goodman's? That where you're getting your legal advice from, James? Better call Saul.
And I will continue to do so if you people don't stop. Okay. Whether they do anything with it, that's another thing. Here he's harassing a pregnant woman.
Oh, really?
So he wants to know why the police encouraged me to report him to the FBI and why I reported him to the FBI. I've reported him to the FBI actually several times. It's the same thing. There's actually probably something going on, but I don't really know. But this is why the police told me to report him to the FBI, is because he is a foreigner and the FBI has a better chance of doing something about it than the local police, who can't do anything until after he comes to my residence, which they don't want to have to wait until he comes to my residence, because he said something like this.
Go after my kids, James. I will be on a plane to Philadelphia, and I will be at your door, and I will finish you for good. One person tried that before.
One more time.
I found your door, and I will finish you for good. One person tried that before. I found them. I gave them a very simple warning. You've got your choice. If I hear one more word from you, one more word, you're going to get a knock at your door, and you better pray to God it's the cops, because if it's me, the cops are going to have to come and take me away. That was the choice, James. Go after. So if you want to escalate to that level, I'll be on a plane to Philadelphia within 48 hours. Guarantee you. And I'm pretty sure there's a few people in here who would quite happily provide me with an alibi. And I'm pretty sure there's a few people in here who would quite happily provide me with an alibi. And I'm pretty sure there's a few people in here who would quite happily provide me with an alibi. And I'm pretty sure there's a few people in here who would quite happily provide me with an alibi. Or possibly a firearm or two. Possibly a firearm or two.